We're going to turn our attention now to elder abuse. We have Anne Marie Cook on the phone. She's the president and CEO of Lifespan in Rochester. Anne Marie, welcome to the Capitol Pressroom.
Thank you very much.
So how serious, I know that the elderly are the fastest growing segment of the population in the state. Is that why instances of elder abuse are growing?
Well, I think it is in part. I think the other thing is we're beginning, and just really the very beginning, to recognize that elder abuse exists. And really, we estimated, we did a study with Cornell University and the New York City Department for Aging about the prevalence and incidence of elder abuse in New York State, never done before, and found that about 250,000 older adults are abused in New York State every single year. It's cumulative, it's a lot, primarily financial exploitation, but we saw other forms of elder abuse throughout every location in the state.
I was surprised when we talk about abuse, it's usually physical or sexual abuse. And while that's a part of it, you're talking primarily about financial abuse. Can you give us an example of what financial abuse is?
Yeah, absolutely. It can be everything from being scammed by, we've all heard about things in the people receive things in the mail, but really the most prevalent form is being financially abused by a loved one, a family member, or a neighbor, in which people are taking people's bank cards, credit cards, and using them for their own purposes. And oftentimes, it's funny. People think, well, this is my inheritance. I'm just using it early. But that's financial exploitation. That's taking somebody's money without their permission, without them knowing about it, that could go to their care.
There was an article in Newsday over the weekend that basically, it was a survey by the Employee Benefit Research Institute, a think tank, found that 57% of workers are basically, they're not ready to be retired. Now, when we're talking about elder abuse, are these are people are beyond that age? They're people who are deep into their retirement or not?
The answer is yes, and that makes it even more devastating, Susan, because most of these older adults who are being financially exploited are over the age of 75. So little chance, quite frankly, to go back to work and recoup the money that's been taken from them. And then you and I pay. Because once their money is gone and they can't recoup that, the only way they can get care is to go on Medicaid. And we've seen it time and time and time again. So as the family member is helping themselves, or the friend or the neighbor helping themselves to mom or dad's money, all of a sudden they can't recoup that money and we have to pay.
The whole Medicaid situation and the spending down has been a problem for a while. Spending down, just for listeners who don't know, is how you can successfully be accepted by Medicaid for, long-term care or nursing homes or things like that. Is that going to continue to be an issue under healthcare reform?
I think so, although a few years ago they changed those loopholes. So now it's 5-year look-back period for Medicaid. So you're looking back 5 years into someone's finances to see if, that they have transferred money. That's a long period of time. I think that has helped. But, I'm going to tell you the flip side of that, going back to financial exploitation, when someone takes someone's money and we're trying to get them the care they need and there's no explanation of why that money was taken, usually the older adult doesn't know, obviously, then it becomes really problematic for us trying to make sure that they're getting the care they need when they need it. So, all of this is difficult.
Yeah. Where does Lifespan fit into the scenario here? Are you the case managers, or are you the liaison between, the government employee and the person who needs the help?
Well, Lifespan does a number of things. First, we operate the New York State Coalition on the Prevention of Elder Abuse. So we do training throughout the state so that people can recognize abuse, people know what to do once they see it, and then help and consult with people to intervene in those cases. Second thing we do right here in the Finger Lakes region, the 10-county Finger Lakes region, is directly intervene in these cases. So we'll work with older adults. We'll work with the family. We work with banks all the time, law enforcement, making sure that we can piece together a case and make sure the older adult, the abuse stops, maybe get them back the money to make sure that they can recoup that, and then work with law enforcement and oftentimes get prosecutions in these cases.
How do you get tipped off about these kinds of financial elder abuse cases?
Oftentimes it's the bank themselves. The banks that understand older adults' banking patterns. As you can imagine, older adults are one of the few groups of people who still walk into the bank every week. They know the banking
Sure.
patterns of individuals. So they will call once we've done trainings. That's why we train so hard in different areas. Second thing is maybe another family member that's suspicious of mom not being cared for properly. What's going on? Starting to ask those questions, or neighbors. It's really, quite frankly, interested people and older adults to make sure that they're being cared for properly, that are our best defense out there. We've even had occasion a few times in which mailmen have called us to say, something's amiss with this older adult. Can you go check it out? We'll send a social worker out to go speak to an older adult. And
good
find
for
out they're
them.
not being, good for them is right, not being cared for the way that they should be.
We have been doing an occasional conversation about life in New York for those who are aging. And because more and more of us, if we're lucky, we get old. So it just seems like there are so many things from, living situations to adult day services to transportation to case management that there's just not enough help. And this is just one of those things that you don't really think of your kids stealing from you, but that's what we're talking about.
That is what we're talking about. Other family members and grandchildren. I have to say, though, in terms of the state budget, I have to commend the governor, lieutenant governor, Assemblywoman Millman, and the Rochester delegation, who have been steadfast in really working to end elder abuse and help prevent it. So they were very, very supportive this year. Assemblyman Morelli and Assemblyman Gant here in Rochester. I just commend all of them for their support in elder abuse prevention, and the governor and the lieutenant governor, too.
You asked for how much, $5 million for case management?
For case management services, and that would be including instances to help older adults in addition to elder abuse. But for elder abuse, quite frankly, we wanted that number up to $750,000, and we did receive that this year. So we're thrilled to work statewide on different elder abuse issues.
For people who do not live in the Finger Lakes, for people in Albany or in the North Country or Buffalo, or are there similar services to the kind that Lifespan provides?
In terms of elder abuse, in those areas, we work very closely with Adult Protective Services, and throughout New York State has Adult Protective Services and offices for aging. So if they don't have a Lifespan per se, we're a private not-for-profit, we work with Office for Aging and Adult Protective Services to make sure older adults are cared for and that someone's intervening in the abuse.
Where can people go for more information?
We have a website, www.nyselderabuse.org, or they can Google Lifespan, and we have a lot of information there, or give us a call, and our number is on the website. And we have information about abuse throughout New York State. Like I said, it happens in every location in New York State, and also ways to intervene and recognize it. That's one of our biggest problems.
Anne-Marie Cook is the president and CEO of Lifespan. Thank you so much. We appreciate your information.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.